everybody. Welcome. So, this is going to be a really fun show. It's my last show in this series, and then I will be back after I figure out all of the craziness of second year first semester. And so I'm very excited. We have some really fun guests. A lot has happened since the last show. So a couple days ago, it was my birthday. I turned 19, so that's super exciting. I got to celebrate my birthday at the Jazz Bistro, which was wonderful. It was a thrill. And the wonderful James B put on a great little party for me, and it was a lot of fun. I got to finally perform in front of a real audience with real musicians, and it felt great. It's the first time since like February-ish, in a sense. So it was great. It was wonderful, super fun. And if you were there, thank you. And if you watched online, thank you. It was a good time. And that video is still available, I think, on the Jazz Bistro Facebook page. When all this is done, you can go watch that and let me know what you think. So a friend of mine who I actually had on the show closer to the beginning, Stacey K, she won a Juno Award, which is super, super wonderful, and I'm so excited for her. And it was for a project called Big Block, and this is like a little clip of it, but oh, she's so fantastic.
Going round with a smile, 'cause I'm in a good mood. No time to be grumpy, too busy to be rude. Being rude, just forget about that, 'cause you know what you get from that. I'll tell you what. Absolutely nothing. Being nice is my thing.
Oh my gosh, all that personality put into a literal box. No, she's so wonderful. But it's so funny. She videotaped herself like with this award, and then she broke it, which is really funny too. Not funny. It's kind of sad. Yeah.
Guess what, guys? I just got my freaking Juno Award in the mail. Okay, I'm gonna do an acceptance speech like I was there. Okay, ready? I'd like to thank Adam Goddard and Warren Brown for including me in this project. It was because of you guys that I can say I am a freaking Juno Award winner. God, this thing is heavy. Okay, I want to thank my mom and my dad for always supporting me, and I want to thank my sister for starting a podcast with me called I Have to Call My Sister. Download it.
So she's wonderful. And if you want, you can go check her out and watch the whole thing. But yes, she is just a ball of energy. I love her so much. So congratulations to her. With that said, I'm going to perform a song, maybe two, and then bring on my first guest. So thank you all for coming and watching me on this wonderful Saturday. I almost forgot what day it was, but I only do these on Saturdays, so that's okay. Yeah. So this is a song by an artist named Eloise, and she hasn't like released it, but it's released on her Instagram, and she's a really wonderful. Thank you, Kent. It was a fantastic show. I had so much fun, and she released it on Instagram. And I thought it was kind of fitting considering that this is like the last show of this little series. So it's her Quarantine song, which is really adorable, and I love it so much. So this is that. It's called, I believe it's just called Quarantine. And this is by Eloise. The world shut down, the power's out. I wash my hands too much, and I'm quarantined and squeaky clean with nobody to touch. How's your head, dear? Have you read, dear? Got a partner up and and there's nothing I'd rather do than get sick in quarantine with you. Oh. I stood in line for cheese and wine, and rice should see us through to next July, and by that time we'll all be immune. So let's dance, love. How's your chance, love? You and your gloves, I'll wear mine. And there's nothing I'd rather do than be ill in quarantine with you. How's your head, dear? Have you read, dear? Got a partner up and I. Now's your chance, love. Time to dance, love. You and your gloves, I'll wear mine. And there's nothing I'd rather do than be ill in quarantine with you. With you. Oh no. With you. So that is Quarantine by Eloise. And if you don't know her, she's from the UK, and she's a really, really wonderful artist. She works closely with Bruno Major, who is another really big influence of mine from the UK as well. I think it's time that I go over to the UK. I really do. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kent. So I'm going to do one more, and then we will bring on our first guest. So this is an original of mine. It's called Helpless. Stars rise, sun falls, we fear, we stall, and everything stops. You're by my side, your smile curved wide, and everything stops. I can't hide the willingness to keep you around. It's bringing me down, 'cause you're in my heart and on my mind. And love I find thinking isn't good for the soul. That technique is old, I know. Hit me with those brown eyes, no matter what I try. But if I told you that I'm helpless, maybe even restless, would you love me still? 'Cause I will. Lay here with me, patterns we breathe, and everything stops. I can see the rope pulled tight, both filled with fright, and everything stops. You're in my sights, my fascination with your smile. I'm in denial, 'cause you're in my heart and on my mind. And love I find dreaming could be good for the soul. Well, so I've been told, I know. Hit me with those brown eyes, no matter what I try. But if I told you that I'm helpless, maybe even restless, would you love me still? 'Cause I will. was my song called Helpless. So I think we're ready to bring on our first guest of the day. He, I don't really know how we met. I don't remember the first encounter that we had, but I do know that he invited me to perform for the Be Jazzed World of Jazz Fest in Brampton a few years ago, and then he had me back for the Studio 2 series at the Rose Theatre, I think it was last year. And he's a really wonderful pianist, arranger, composer. The list goes on, but I'm very excited to catch up and chat with Carmen Spada.
Are we on?
Yes, we are. Hi.
Good. I got one camera on me, and I got the other one trying to catch up. So as long as we're good, we're good.
Yes. No, it sounds perfect. How have you been?
Good. And thanks for having me on. But congratulations. I mean, you got your own show. You don't need Hollywood. It's so professionally done. You got the ticker. You got the guest. This is awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm not doing this all by myself. I have to thank my parents for really backing me up, and my dad, who's programming in the background. So
when Ellen and Harry Connick and Johnny Carson do their shows, they don't talk about who's making it happen. It's all about them. So this is all about you. So congratulations. Awesome. You got the split screen. You cut to the video. You got the plane. You're like, hey, you figured out the future. This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been going really well, and I'm really happy that you could join us today. How has this whole pandemic kind of been for you?
It's been tough.
Yeah.
And I just want to make another point because you said you don't know how we met. I can thank my wife because she found you on Twitter in 2018, second year at Jazz Festival, and our submission period was still open. And she said, "Look how amazing it!" And like, I would have been 2 years ago. So you were like 16, 17,
Yeah.
And so we hired you for that festival, like you said, and so you can thank her, okay? Because then that started our great relationship.
Perfect.
But yeah, COVID is, I'm sure the experience has been the same for all musicians out there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that never saw it coming and didn't expect it to go this long. I had a running tally like by week, and I just let it go because it's hard when people say, oh, you have to reinvent yourself now, or you got to think about people are tired, like it's just like telling somebody, well, try harder. You've done that for a long time, even when people are fine, and I think what COVID has done is it's kind of exposed maybe things that weren't happening before or weren't happening well before, they're worse now, and especially in our industry. So if gigs were underpaid or hard to come by before, they're no money now and even harder to come by.
Yes.
So it's funny too, as an artistic director, I get a lot of calls and I get a lot of people asking because we've done so many performances in the city of Brampton and created a lot of things, and they're always musicians are calling saying, "Is there anything happening? You guys have any good?" And no,
Yeah.
and it's tough. It's tough
It
to be
is
in that position personally for my career and also as this type of broker of other performances.
Absolutely. So if you could, for those who don't know you or don't know much about the World of Jazz Festival, would you like to talk about that a little bit? And then afterwards, we'll show a promo clip about that as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. I'm advertising here and whatever close to there. Back in late 2016, I was paired up with a local real estate agent named Joe Asensio, and he had a brokerage in downtown Brampton of 15 agents, and I was told that he was a budding saxophone player, and got together. He's senior gentleman, let's say, and he's been playing all his life and loves music and never was able to pursue it professionally and wanted to do more in the community. And myself, was doing a lot in the community, but didn't necessarily have the backing or the sponsorship or the support we really needed to get some of my projects off the ground. So we came together. And in March 2017, we formally incorporated Be Jazzed. And we're a non-for-profit organization and work on curating performances, education, and philanthropy around jazz music and its musicians, primarily in the city of Brampton. And Joe brought on all that business acumen and sponsorship and connections and the legal aspects of things, and I brought the artistic vision and connecting to the musicians and the professional, industry technicians and stuff. And in 2017, we launched our first jazz festival. And we call it the World of Jazz because there had been some previous attempts in the city of Brampton by other groups to do
Mm-hmm.
jazz-oriented events and concerts and festivals and stuff, and nothing really took hold in the city. And at that time, we were working really closely with the corporation of the city of Brampton to get the proper vision aligned for what they would even want in a jazz festival. And we are the ninth largest city in Canada, but also probably the most multiculturally diverse. And there's lots of different cultures here and people who had vested interest in what we're doing. And if you look in the jazz world today, jazz isn't what it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago. The word is being used very loosely in a lot of different styles.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, let's try and pair up, different interpretations of jazz um, that have multicultural influences, as well as, targeting the cultures that reside here in the city of Brampton.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of encompasses our title. And we're just 2 weeks away from our fourth festival. I think we found a concept and a product that really connects with our city and our residents. Last year in 2019, Jazz put on over 150 performances in the city. You've been to our jam session that was running every Friday night. You've also performed at Studio 2, which is our acoustic
Yes.
series. The festival is like the pinnacle of what we do. And
Right.
so we worked really hard, and just we're not for profit. We're here to stay, but this hope, the future is kind of the unknown right now.
Right. Well, we're gonna show the promo video that you've asked, and then we can talk a little bit more afterwards.
Cool.
The Jazz presents the third annual World of Jazz Festival in downtown Brampton, kicking off on Friday, September 6th with 18-time Grammy Award winners, the Count Basie Orchestra at the Rose Theatre. Then, on Saturday, September 7th, enjoy non-stop free music from 1:30 to 11 p.m., featuring 2 stages in Garden Square, the super fun Long and McQuaid Instrument Demo Area, Community Stage, and Family Fun Zone, all happening in Vivian Lane. Dinner jazz at J. Red & Co., and the very popular Late Night Jam Session, an annual tradition at Wendell Clark's Classic Grill and Bar, starting at 11 p.m. and running into the wee hours of the morning. Free all-day jazz music by some of Canada's best musicians, including our very own here in Brampton. And don't forget to bring a non-perishable food item for the Knights Table Food Drive. Fun for the whole family. Come and have a great time at the 3rd Annual World of Jazz Festival, September 6th and 7th in downtown Brampton.
It's always so much fun. I love going to those jam sessions. I've been to a few of them, and they're a hoot.
Yeah, and a lot. When people you're the best singer of the night. So people just like where how did that happen? And I said, yeah, the people know, they having you there. So I think you got some gigs out of it too at one point. So that's good.
Yes. Yes, it's a lot of fun. And so, what are your plans, just briefly, for what's to come with the festival with COVID going on?
Well, I just want to say about that clip. That was the promo clip from 2019 that we
Yes.
circulated, in advertising for that festival, and we were fortunate enough last year to have Count Basie Orchestra
Oh, wow.
headline that event.
Yeah.
But what I love about that is that it really gives you a good view of what our event is. You saw the kids area where Long McQuaid has a called musical instrument, any music can play any instrument they want. We get our costume characters there. We have our 2 stages totally sponsored out, food vendors and stuff. It shows just how broad our day is, and it's happening in the downtown core,
Mm-hmm.
So although we're not able to reproduce that style event this year because of COVID, we try to stay as close as possible to that footprint, adhering to obviously safety rules and physical distancing and stuff. So on Saturday, our festival will be the second weekend of September, as every year. This year it's the 12th and 15th, Saturday and Sunday. The Saturday features live performances in and around downtown Brampton.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, there's 12 bands performing. 11 of the 12 are Brampton-based ensembles and Brampton-based musicians. And they're acting as we have some in the farmers market. We have some along the quay. We have another space in Brampton called Mount Pleasant Village, which is kind of a parkette. And then we have some restaurant performances between 6 and 8. And we really felt that it was important to give. A lot of people are doing live stream festivals now, where they're pre-recording and doing these kind of show concepts. We're doing a live stream the next day, but we really wanted to give some live portions back to our residents, who not only are used to what we do, but have gone without live entertainment and music for 4 or 5 months. So that's the Saturday portion, and then the Sunday we'll be doing a live stream, and a real live stream, nothing pre-recorded, just like me and you, totally live. We have 2 bands performing from 1 to 9. And we're keeping with our footprint again of having 2 stages. We're in Garden Square. We have each stage plays and trades off every hour. So we're doing the same thing on our live stream. We'll have 2 stages so that the music doesn't stop. And we've got eight bands there, wonderful bands. Chris McDonald's Quartet, Sarah Thauer, Donnie Brook. I'll be playing with a 6-piece band. We've got the Young Kings, fantastic Northern style brass band, South Sotica, 10-piece Latin jazz orchestra, Luanda Jones, Brazilian singer, and we're ending with the Natural Elements, which is this soul blues band at the end of the night. So those 2 days of festival are employing over 90 musicians, technicians. Almost 50% of those people are coming from the city of Brampton. So we're really excited that we're able to find a stage, we're able to create a live portion, and that we're able to do this in a year when many festivals canceled worldwide, or found pivots that weren't necessarily live. We're doing a bit of both the live stream and the live content.
Yeah, no, it's super wonderful that this is still somewhat able to happen. For me, since I just did a gig at the Bistro, we had plexiglass in front of the stage. It was just a crazy new normal. But we're all making it work and working together, and it's just wonderful to see all of it coming together in a weird quarantine COVID sense. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and talking about the festival and how you've been and up and coming. Things to look forward to for people. And what are the exact dates that this World of Jazz Fest stuff is going to be going on?
So September 12th and 13th, Saturday and Sunday. I see the Facebook there in the ticker, which is great. The website is www.worldofjazz.ca. All of our performers are there, our schedule, all of their bios and backgrounds. The Saturday, September 12th portion will be live in Brampton from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the live stream on Sunday, September 13th, runs from 1 p.m. and finishes at 9. The live stream you can check out at our Facebook link right there, our YouTube page, as well as it will be embedded at our website, www.worldofjazz.ca. So hope you guys can make it out in person or on the live stream. And Avery, I want to thank you. Like I said, I've had the pleasure of presenting you on our stages. I've been able to perform in your band. Love the tunes. And like I said, you got this set up over here. So we're going to be calling you and we'll be chasing you. So I hope you're ready.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you soon.
Yeah, your family.
Yes. Bye. So that was Carmen Spada, and you can go to worldofjazz.com and check out all the information for that. They do put on a really wonderful festival, and it's very fun to perform at. I know because I did it a couple of years ago, and it was a joy. So before I bring on the next guest, I think I'm gonna sing a song. It's so funny because sometimes I have to check with Mr. Producer Man downstairs. So this is an original of mine that I wrote super recently. I just kind of finished an arrangement for it and performed it at the Bistro the other day. But of course I don't have a 4-piece band behind me, so this is gonna just be me. And hopefully I remember my own song. Oh, you caught my eye, and Something deep inside me has begun to conjure up inside my heart. And I have realized I've desired you right from the start. It's fair to say you have my heart. And the moment when your hand touches mine, those shivers I receive straight down my spine. There's no need to run, 'cause for the first time in a while, this could be love. You say I'm enough, but I think I'm too much for anyone on any given day. And yet you whisper here the words you know I love to hear. They claim that you won't ever leave. And the moment when your lips are pressed to mine, those shivers I receive straight down my spine. There's no need to run, 'cause for the first time in a while, this could be love. You say I'm enough, but I think I'm too much for anyone on any given day. And yet you whisper here the words you know I love to hear. They claim that you won't ever leave. And the moment when your lips are pressed to mine, those shivers I receive straight down my spine. We've only begun, 'cause for the first time in a while, this could be love, dear. For the first time in a while, this could be love. So our next guest that will be joining me today, I'm very excited to speak to her. We've, I think, met each other in passing, but not super formally in person. I was performing at the Harborfront at the same time that she was, and I went to go watch her set, and it was beautiful. And so I'm very excited to chat with her, and she's going to sing a tune for us. So I'm really excited to welcome KellyLee Evans.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Well, how's your quarantine been? Everything like that.
It's kind of like everything, right?
I know.
Yeah, my quarantine has been all of it.
Yes.
You know? Yes, all of it. So like,
yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
just
totally
all of it.
understandable. Have you been like writing or anything specific, like project-wise, that you've been like, this is a great time to like chomp down on something?
I've been
Or-
resting, like
That's
a lot
good.
of resting, a lot of
That's
brain
good.
resting. Yeah, so that was a project that needed to be happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of people realize that during this time, it's like okay to do nothing, you know?
Yeah, and when I first started, I was like, I'm gonna do this. I had this list. I was learning German.
Oh my
I was-
gosh.
Serious, I was doing all this stuff, and then my brain broke, and I was just like, oh, okay, this is too much. And then I just got this like sense of realization that I had to change the way that I was going about like
Yes.
everything. Yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And like before COVID hit, like were there like a bunch of gigs that you had lined up that got like canceled and whatnot?
Somewhat. I had a lot of gigs. I had gigs. Actually, I was on tour. So I was in France until March. And so we had 10 days. It was like a 10-day tour in France. And so I'm trying to think. I think the 13th of March was the last gig I actually did. And or no, the 13th was canceled. And then I flew home on the 14th.
Okay.
And then from there were a few more like speaking engagements and things that I had like lined up in the fall and spring and fall. I'm sorry, the spring. Yes. But then summer, like I had a bunch of stuff in the summer that was lost, and then like all the stuff basically in the fall.
Right.
So and then I have a bunch of things coming in November and stuff, but in October, but I don't really know if they're going to happen. And then next year, who knows if they're going to happen. So yeah, because most of them are not here, so they're in France, or so I have to get on a plane, quarantine, the 14-day quarantine here, and then the 14-day quarantine when you get there. You know, that's like a month out of your life. Yeah. I hope that's like if you don't catch anything.
Of course, it's kind of a little bit of a setback, but hopefully, you know, fingers crossed that touring resumes and that you're able to travel again without all of the nonsense.
Yeah, sort of. And then part of me is kind of like, I have to say, like, I really enjoyed the being at home part too. Right. And just life has so many like moments that need to happen, and sometimes you're not able to like embrace those moments when you're like out on the road and stuff. So it's really good to be home and to be part of those moments, you know? Absolutely. So I'm cool. I mean, I'm not saying it's great to not be earning, you know, and not making the music, because I have to say though, like I'm not like I've done tons of festivals. Like I've done Ottawa Jazz Fest, I did Blues Fest, I did Music and Beyond, the Tulip Festival. So people have, you know, reached out to ask me to make these like little, you know, videos in my room. Yes. And we've done some cool space videos. So like the Ottawa Blues Fest was like a really neat thing where we did a drive-in concert. That was a couple weeks ago. And so as much as like I want to say I didn't work, I totally did work, you know. And there's a lot of musicians that did not do as much as I did in this period of time. So I'm really thankful, and I know that I'm lucky. Yeah.
No, for sure. And I was, you know, doing a little bit of like research about you before I brought you on to talk and whatever. And I saw that you received a Juno Award, which is super wonderful. Which record was that for?
It was for an album called Nina, which was a tribute to Nina Simone.
That's beautiful. What was like the creation process of that record? Like what was the idea of thinking I want to do this artist instead of a different artist? Like, is that a major influence for you?
Well, it's funny. When I was learning about jazz, I spent every month I would spend like on a different artist. And I remember like that was my research phase, you know, and learn. And then so I would learn all the music, and I thought, oh, one day I'd like to do like this series that would be like songs like so-and-so taught me, you know, so it would be songs Nina taught me. So that was like sort of a long title, Songs Nina Taught Me. And she was one of the people that my mom listened to a lot, and my ex-husband listened to a lot. And so, I don't know, when I was working on my album, The Good Girl, which was like all originals, at the same time, I had this desire to work on a different project because it was so consuming, you know, writing the music and like producing it and working with like the artists and the sound engineer to like get everything perfect, you know. And I was just like, oh man, I just kind of want to make an album, like pick songs, not have to write them, you know, and then we just go in and do them. And that was like so different. I went from like, you know, trying to fine tune every sound, like with the team, like on the first album, and then the second one, like the Nina song, Nina, it was just like, we were in for 2 days.
Wow.
6 songs a day.
Wow.
And 2 passes each song.
That's awesome.
I know. And then you just leave.
That sounds like a perfect 2 days.
Yeah, just outside Paris. And it was my first time going to France. So like the process was like it felt very painless, you know?
Mhm.
And I had ideas on like what I wanted each songs to sound like. I knew who we were using. It was just the same group, these wonderful musicians. And then we came away from it with this project. And I kind of just like, you know, it was so nice and just how like removed I felt from it too. Like it was just like I just wanted to sing and like think about this music, but not have to do all of the promotion and everything. And a label was in charge of all that. So that was a nice experience for me on our first time. And then like it's funny, like I submitted both albums because they were both released around the same time for Juno, and that's the one that won.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Well, I'm super excited to hear you sing. And then after you sing, we will chat a little bit more. But what are you going to perform for me?
Well, you know, it's funny because I'm a songwriter, and I love the idea of getting my thoughts down on paper, you know, just out like, but it's funny because like I don't really know what's coming when I write it. Like it just comes out, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, look at that. And this is a song that I wrote. Oh, that's what I think. But, this is a song that I wrote for an album. I probably wrote the music for this in like 2012, 2013. I want to say, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking, yeah. And then I recorded it for an album that came out in 2015. And this album was like written, you know, so this song was written like after my accident, just talking about life, you know, but also talking not so much about like being hurt, but the message just applies so well to all the things that came after, you know, it was almost prescient. Like I knew, it's as if I knew it was coming, even though I didn't. And I feel like this song really can apply to people living right now, like, you know, what they're going through. And just the fact that like through it all, you know, if we're still here, that must mean that we are unbreakable. So that's what the song's called.
Wonderful. Well, take it away. I'm so excited.
Okay. I gave my time, I gave my heart, gave my heart. I gave my mind, won't give the spark, give the spark, 'cause I'm not cold, still won't love her from the start. Still care, still dare, I'm aware of the heart. Unbreakable, unbreakable. I close my eyes, I'm not falling. Ooh, yes, I know tonight won't call done crawling back, 'cause I'm not cold, still won't I love her from the start. I still care, still there, I'm aware of the heart. Unbreakable, unbreakable. I'm not afraid to open my heart. I'm not afraid to open my heart. I'm not afraid to open my heart. I'm not afraid to restart. Ooh, unbreakable, unbreakable, unbreakable.
That was so beautiful.
Thanks.
For those who don't fully know about the accident that did happen to you, if you don't mind talking about it a little bit and how it kind of affected you personally as an artist, maybe.
Yeah, sure. So I was hit by lightning in 2013. It was a big lightning storm where I lived, and I was washing dishes at the time, and it was it's technically called electrocution by conduction. And so the lightning hit the roof of the house and came through the pipes. We had a big metal roof, and I was touching the edge of the sink when it happened. And so just like that shock, and it totally changed my mobility. Before, I felt like I was, a superwoman, or at least I acted as though I was superwoman. I felt like I had boundless energy. But since then, I spent a few months in a wheelchair, and it's been a long road back to some semblance of recovery. And I have to admit that I'm not really there, where I don't think I ever will be back to where I was before. But how it's affected me as an artist is just really learning what my limits are, and trying to figure out how much I can get done. Right. And it's very humbling, it's very humbling to not be the, I guess, able-bodied the way that I was in the past. But it's taught me to really ask for help and to accept help.
Well, it's a beautiful story, and it was a beautiful song that you performed. Before I let you go, where can people find you? And if you have anything to promote, by all means, go ahead. I'm on my website, KellyLeeEvans.com, and you can find me on Instagram at KellyLee Evans Music, and on Twitter at KellyLee Evans, and on Facebook, KLE Online, and and it's I think my whole goal for people just is to be well. And if you if you need a pick me up occasionally, I post my art, and I post music, links to videos that are coming out or music that's coming out, and so I hope everyone's okay and doing their best, and that they just keep their spirits up. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Oh, I'm so happy that you agreed to come on. It's been lovely. So thank you so much.
You take care.
You too.
Thanks.
So that was KellyLee Evans, and she was just wonderful. A great inspiration for young artists and just anybody out there, really. She's wonderful. So thank you, KellyLee Evans. A weird little glitch there. So she's wonderful. And I'm really excited for this next guest. We're going to jump right in. She is also, she graduated from Humber, which is really cool. So I get to talk to her a little bit about those experiences. And she's a really wonderful arranger, voice actress, composer, singer, everything. So please welcome Emilie Claire-Barlow.
Hi.
Hello. It's so nice to kind of meet you.
Yes, you too. I love your show.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's a lot of fun. It is.
Yeah, it's really great. And that was so wonderful to see KellyLee. I
Yes.
love her. And that was beautiful, her singing.
Yes.
So I'm really enjoying this. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, thank you so much for accepting to come on. How have you been during the pandemic nonsense?
Yes. I've been fine. I think I want to echo KellyLee's sentiments, is that I feel for people who are struggling, businesses who are struggling, and people who have lost their livelihoods, and people who have gotten sick. I feel extraordinarily grateful and lucky that I've been able to continue working in one facet, and that I'm isolating with a person that I really like. So yeah, obviously I'm not playing live, but there's a lot of creativity and a lot of music happening in this house, and it's been the longest time that I can remember that I've stayed in one place.
Right.
And traveling is exhausting, and so that's been a plus for me. But not to take away again, how difficult a time it is for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And the last show, we had Lila Bialy on, and she was just saying that it's okay to accept the fact that you have nothing to do sometimes, which I thought was very true. Like, we're always go, go, go. And so now it's just time to just kind of sit and think about ourselves and what's going on around the world. So it's been a bittersweet time, I think, for a lot of people.
That's a good way of putting it. I mean, actually, I find that I've been kind of busier than ever in another way, because my partner, Steve Webster, he's a musician, he's a bass player, and we're partners in life and in music.
Yes.
Him and I always refer to those things that have been hanging around your to-do list, or things that they're not really urgent, but you're just meaning to look into that thing. And we call those the straggly bits.
Yes.
And so we've made it our mission to tackle the straggly bits. So we're getting somewhere.
And whereabouts are you situated right now?
Yeah, so I'm in a little town called Huatulco in the state of Oaxaca, in the southern part of Mexico. We're right on the Pacific. And I guess in March, we decided that we were just going to stay put. The itineraries to get back to Toronto were not straightforward, and it felt riskier to spend all that time in airports and in close quarters with everybody. And we're in a really small town, like I said. So we made the decision to stay put. We're still here.
Yes.
We are going to get back to Toronto, I think, in about a month and a half or so.
Okay. Oh, well, that's not a too awful place to quarantine, I guess.
No, the things that feed my soul.
Yes.
Sunshine, birds, colors, the sights and sounds of Mexico, and the temperature and the food. So that's one of the reasons why we made that decision too. I thought, I'm going to be a happier person if I can stay here right now. So I'm really grateful that we've been able to do that.
That is a very nice place to be.
Yeah.
For those of the people watching who may not know you too well, do you want to give a little bit of a background, kind of quick little bio about yourself?
Sure. Well, I mean, I came from a musical family. My mother's a singer, my father's a drummer, my grandmothers were both professionals in the entertainment business. All of my family's in the biz. So I grew up in studios. My parents played, commercial recordings and albums in the heyday of the 70s and 80s of the Toronto session scene. Yes. So I really spent a lot of my childhood in studios. And then I started working professionally when I was about 8 or 9 years old, singing on commercials and doing voiceover work. And I went to Etobicoke School of the Arts for high school, and I studied music theater, and that's really when my love affair with the American songbook started. Yes. And at that time, Holly Cole came out with her first few records, a Holly Cole trio, and I was obsessed. I loved how she took those Great American Songbook standards and came up with these incredibly inventive arrangements. Well, Aaron Davis and Dave Pilch, all of them. So I put my first group together when I was still in high school, and that was with Mark Camilleri, who's a well-known Toronto piano player and musical director, Ben Riley, who's an incredible drummer, also in the Toronto scene, and Ross McIntyre, who,
of course,
Ross subsequently played on a lot of my albums. That was my friends, and could. And are we good? We just
it was frozen for a little bit. It's
okay.
just like getting.
No, okay.
It's okay. The internet is a wonder.
Okay, well, anyway, I'll fast forward. I've been releasing albums since 1998, and now I'm working on a duo project with Steve called Bocana.
I think so.
Are we still good?
I think so. Yeah, it's just coming in and out, but I think we're still
okay.
Good.
All right. Well, basically, here's my summed up bio. I sing songs.
Yes. That is quite in the nutshell.
Yeah, I sing. Music.
Yes.
Music.
But I do want to say I admire your arranging skills very much, and it's rare, I think, these days to find female vocalist who is so invested in arranging their own tunes for their musicians, which I think is really awesome. And I know that, well, from what I've heard, you took it very seriously at Humber when you were there as well. And so, yes, I just think it's really wonderful. And like, I admire, you know, like your airmail special arrangement and your clear day arrangement, which is so beautiful. So, yes.
Well, thank you. That was really my focus when I was at Humber. I actually did not graduate. But I decided after my first year that I was just going to totally focus on theory and arranging. And Shelley Berger, bassist, composer, arranger, was my theory teacher and arranging teacher, and he was hugely influential and important to me. And again, you know, I was listening to artists like Holly Cole who were doing these kind of inventive arrangements. So I just had a lot of ideas and I needed to know how to get them out on paper, and it's powerful to be able to do that.
Absolutely. So you, from what I understand, have started kind of like a new duo. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So Steve is a very creative person, and over the time that we were working on my last Christmas album together, he was just constantly coming up with these musical ideas. He started a little library because we were working on a different project at the time. Finally, we decided, let's revisit those and let's try to finish some of those ideas. And that turned into Bocana. Bocana is the name of a beach near where we live. It's a beautiful, inspiring place. And the idea behind Bocana is just to make music that we really like, that's fun, that is inspired by our surroundings. There are no rules. It doesn't have to be jazz or not jazz. It's kind of a little bit electro pop with some jazz elements, you know, some sophisticated harmony and a mix of acoustic instruments and programming. So we've got 6 singles out. Wonderful. And, you know, we're on all the streaming platforms. You can find us, Bocana. It's find us on Spotify and all those places. And Steve has also made some lyric videos to go along with the songs. And they're cool. They're really cool. They're beyond just, of course, the lyrics. There's some beautiful imagery. And so that's what we're doing right now.
That's lovely. And we are going to show video. I don't want to butcher the name of it, but El Rio Copalita?
You did it.
Did I? Okay.
Nailed it.
Perfect. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that video that we're going to show soon.
Well, El Rio Copalita is the river that runs down into the Pacific Ocean on this beach that I talked about, Bocana.
Yes.
And I wanted to write a song that was almost like a list song, you know, like Waters of March, a stick, a stone. It talks about the rains come and the gutters flow and it picks up trinkets and knickknacks and who knows what you're going to find. And so that's what happens in the rainy season here. It's 2 seasons, dry and then rainy. And so when it rains, it really, really, really rains, and we're ready for it. But sometimes it's a deluge and the river overflows and people lose pieces of land, and it's extreme, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So this is my first song in Spanish, and essentially it's a list of things that you might find the water might bring you.
Oh, that sounds so beautiful. Well, I'm excited to listen to it, so that's what we will do right now.
Mi terreno,
There was some beautiful imagery in there.
Yeah.
So is that stuff that you like see around you on a regular basis while you're there, or?
It is. Some of those images are from like we have a subscription to stock video site, but it's
Right, of
really, really, really. It could absolutely all of those things could be there. It's a
Yes.
really beautiful place.
And I know what you. I can see what you were saying. How it's like it's modern type jazz. Like the harmony, of course, was beautiful to listen to, and yeah. So that was your first song that you wrote in Spanish.
Yeah, and Spanish is such a fun language. You know, I'm
I've
learning
always
it right
wanted to
now.
learn.
It's the best language. It's so percussive and fun, and you know all these words like tinquiches, chopechitas. It's just really fun to say and fun to sing. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was super lovely to talk to you.
Oh,
And
someone's leaving comments. That's cute.
yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I love your show.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
And besides the website right there, where else can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook. I have an artist page there, Emilie Claire-Barlow. Also, I've expanded my record company, Empress Music Group, taken on 2 new artists. And I just have to do a quick plug. One of our artists, David Blaemeyers, who sang for many years with Pat Metheny, released his second single yesterday. It's called Simple Truth. David Blaemeyers. You can go to my Facebook page. You'll find more about it. It's a super fun, up-tempo pop song. So you can find me there.
Amazing.
And on Instagram.
Yes,
know,
of course.
all the places.
Yes. Well, all the best to you and those around you. And I hope you stay safe in this quarantine and safe travels back to Toronto when you decide to make that trek. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you perform soon and whatnot. And we'll get back to normal soon.
Yes, likewise. Great playing and singing. And
thank you.
Thanks again. Take care.
You as well. So that was the wonderful Emilie Claire-Barlow. And such a beautiful song and imagery and everything. For me, seeing things like that is a really big aspect of listening to music. I'm a visual learner, so I need something to look at. Yeah, it was beautiful. Lots, very colorful. So I'm gonna do a couple songs, and then we will bring on our next 2 guests. Actually, they will be together. So yeah, this is an Alan Stone song. Every day the deficit grows. You spend more than you own. Papa always says to me, keep a close eye on your authority. You say that you care. I was unaware. You say that you care. I was unaware. All you do is push, pull, tear. We can't stretch it any farther. Push, pull, tear. We can't stretch it any farther. Every day taxes increase. Is this solid or is this our lease? Well, Papa said, son, it's the land of the free. As he broke his back trying to make ends meet. stretch it any farther. Push both there. We can't stretch it any farther. Oh no, we can't stretch it any farther. Oh no, we can't stretch it any farther. Stretch it any farther. That was Unaware by Alan Stone. I also forgot to mention that Emilie Claire is also a Juno winner and has been nominated many times. So just all well-rounded, very much so. I would like to mention Patreon, which you did see scrolling on the bottom there while I was singing. You can help support me for the price of a Starbucks coffee. That's $5 a month, basically. And there's a whole bunch of other artists on there as well, so if you want to support them, you can, and you get little things in return, like my songwriting process. I'll record that a few times and post it, or live streams, songs that haven't been released yet, lyric sheets, Q&As, stuff like that. So feel free to check it out. I'm not forcing you, but it would help me and other artists as well. So I would also like to mention Heart of Indie Radio, which is right here. I co-host a show called The Memphis Show with Eddie Davis, who is kind of like the team leader over there. And they're all wonderful. It's a great team to be a part of. They support independent artists. And they are also partnered up with a lot of charities. So they assist Shriners Children's Hospital and the Texas Children's Hospital. And so if you wish to support them, you can go to this website here. And they do a lot of wonderful things. Right now, well, like the last show, I had to record the entire show by myself because Eddie not only works on the front lines as well as like the rest of the team, but he went to go help out with the hurricane relief that is happening. So they're doing a lot. And so I'm praying that they're staying safe while they're doing all of this. It's a dangerous task, but they're doing what they do best, is helping out. So they're down south helping out with the hurricane, and it's been crazy, and I'm hoping everyone is safe. So I'm going to show a little video, since I did get to perform live a couple days ago at the Jazz Bistro, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And so this is a little clip from that show the other day, and I really hope you guys like it. If you weren't able to attend, and you can watch the whole show on the Jazz Bistro Facebook page, where they live streamed the whole first half. So this is that. This is the very first song that I opened up with.
Happy birthday!
Looking at the beat, you can't look at the So that was so much fun. I had a splendid time. The band that I was with, I'm so grateful for. Joel Byzantine on piano, Chris Adriance on bass, Nicholas Tataishi on guitar, and Joel Haynes on drums. They all did a splendid job. And yeah, I was just overjoyed to be able to, perform with them and whatnot. And as you could see, there was like the plexiglass. Everyone was wearing their masks when you weren't walking around and whatever. Yeah, weird new normal, but it is, it is what it is. It's a lot of fun though, and hopefully I'll get to do more tonight. I'm going to be going back to the bistro actually to go watch Lou Pomonti perform, and he might have me up and do a tune with him, which might be fun. So I'm excited for that. Anything to do to listen to live music these days is just, I will jump at the chance. So yes, and my good friend of mine, Katie George, who I had on here around the beginning, she did her own show there before she went off to Montreal. So she did wonderful. She just released a song today. With all of that said, I'm going to bring on my last two guests of today. I've known one of them for quite a few years now. I joined Ted Wallishin on CFRB a few times, and he was there. So he is a part of the Beaches Jazz Festival, which I had the pleasure of performing at a few years ago. And today he's going to be joined with his son. And they both co-host each other together a show on Jazz FM, which is really wonderful. So please welcome Bill and Jesse King.
Bill's here. Jesse's not here.
Oh, Jesse's not here, just Bill? Okay.
Jesse does a lot of production and work.
Yes.
Right? And so he was just overwhelmed today.
Okay.
So,
no, that's totally
you're stuck
understandable.
with me.
That's fine. That is
Hey,
just
good
fine.
to see you, because I think you must have been about 14 years old when we had you on News Talk 1010.
Yes, I think
Your
so.
first-
Yeah, no, the very first time I think I was like 13 or 14, and I had just released my first record at that point, I believe. Quite some time ago.
And how did you feel coming on? I mean, this is a radio show that has about 100,000 listeners, so it's pretty intense.
It was, I had done a few interviews prior to that, but I wouldn't say I was nervous. I was more excited, I think, looking back to that age of mine. But I had been on a couple times after that, and it was a lot of fun. So, yes. And how are you doing?
Doing really well.
Good.
I mean, as well as you can through a pandemic. So let me explain what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
When it got really bad in March and everything, we had to figure out something to do. So Jess and I created a project called the J&B Kings,
Mm-hmm.
because we love soul and funk so much.
Yes.
And that's what we play on Soul Nation on Jazz FM.
Mm-hmm.
That we started recording material and sending it back and forth. This is my studio here. Jesse has his own studio. We'd send it back and forth, work on tracks, and then farm out the horn parts or whatever we want to do. We got a group out of Paris, France that does some horns for us, sometimes a heavyweight brass band. And we started picking up all sorts of international play. So in the process, Jesse still has his own recording stuff that he does. It's dogmatic, because he won the Juno last year for best reggae recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we decided to do is let me sort of go my way. Jesse does that, and then we have the J&B Kings in the middle.
Right.
But we work together on all the projects.
Okay.
So because it's what it is, it's a time for everybody to work together as a collective in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you do the same thing. Somebody says to you, can you give me a vocal part?
Yeah.
You can probably
course.
record a vocal part
Of course.
and send
Yes.
it over, right?
Yeah, so it's been weird seeing how all of that has shifted, right? So like you're just so used to like saying, can you come into this studio? We'll record this quickly and leave. But now it's like, are you free at home doing nothing to record this for me? Yeah.
But it's interesting at the same time, because so many people have learned to record at home.
Mm-hmm.
And for somebody like you get the opportunity to get even more experience behind a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
You can sing more. You can work on parts.
Yeah.
perfect things for other people. And the nice thing is you can do a lot now. Going back to when I first started, it cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to go into a recording studio, and it was rare that you got in.
Right.
So now look at us. We're sitting right here, and I got a piano in front of me. I got the recording stuff and all sorts of things. We can do things now.
Yes. Yeah, just the way that, the world's just shifted, right? So this whole technology thing, some people hate it, some people love it, but I think we have to try to learn to love it if we ever want to get anywhere these days, right? So.
Well, you still have, we don't have a vaccine yet.
No.
So the best thing to do is to understand that in time, COVID will go the way of most pandemics and most things do, as the doctors and the scientists solve this. But for us in the middle of all of this, we have to continue to create and figure out ways to continue to make music and hopefully make some money too.
Yes.
Right? So you have to stay engaged, and the best thing you can do is just make sure you work with a lot of people, do a lot of things together. And the interesting thing, when we play Soul Nation, it's a whole level of new music from around the world. And there are all kinds of young groups, and they're all going through the same thing. But the level of creativity is amazing. So what they're doing is they're creating this new surface of music, this new layer of music. It's all new. It's a blend of jazz, funk, world music, Latin, and all of that. It's bits of everything. So in the meantime, while things seem like they're out of sync, there's some great stuff going on.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Just wondering, are you going to perform something today?
What I'm going to do? I'm going to do something because I haven't sang in 6 months. We've been concentrating on this. We did 6 tracks. We have a 6th track coming out with J&B Kings in September. I have a new track coming out in about a week here, and it's with jazz Cuban trumpeter Alexis Barrow.
Nice.
And so this all started. I'm going to play it for you, and I'll play along with it too.
Okay.
It started as we work from loops. So Jesse creates a few loops, and he sends over, and he may play live bass drums, and guitar and stuff, and he'll send it to me, and I'll think about it, right, where I want to take it. So this is a loop that came over, about 3 chords on it, and I started working on it, and I sent it back to him, and he really liked it. He had some percussion, and then I listened to it, and I said, this has the vibe of Miles Davis in 1985. When he was recorded Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. And then he also did Michael Jackson's Human Nature. And so I went back and I wrote some music to it. And then I said, let's try it with Alexis Barrow. Alexis Barrow, I sent it over to him, and he did this amazing job on it. So you want to hear it? You'll be the first to hear this tune, okay?
Perfect. I'm excited. Yes, take it away.
So it's called Miles to Go, okay?
That was awesome.
How about that?
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I have a question for you about. Pardon?
Go ahead.
Okay. Just about the Beaches Jazz Festival. So with regards to COVID, just if you want to briefly talk about how that's kind of been affected and how they would proceed maybe like next season and whatnot.
This season was the real test of going virtual.
All right.
Because it came up on us so fast because we normally have bands kind of booked by April, right? So here we are. We don't know if we have any money because now you don't know if your sponsors are going to give you any money. So you lose sponsors right off the bat. You don't know if you have your government money in place. These are the things that are behind making a festival, right? Everybody sees the people march out and play, but they don't understand the whole thing that goes behind it.
Yes.
So we didn't know until June, if we could even do anything. So my partner Lito, what he did was he found a young man and some people in Halifax that were really good now at creating the virtual festival, taking the video, because we had to get everybody to film themselves. We got folks to film themselves in their own environment, but it had to go back and be color corrected, and the audio had to be fixed and everything, and then it all had to be programmed in such a way.
Right.
So in the end, it turned out really good because we were able to do some live feeds, especially with DJs. That was easier to do, and then we did bands and some live bands. So in the end, it worked out really well. But the only thing is, when you go to the Beaches Jazz Festival, that's 800,000 people.
Right.
When you do it virtual, that's 800 people.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? It's a total different thing. You can't draw the numbers there, but we'll see where it goes. We don't know where we'll be next year. So,
Absolutely. Well, it is a mystery, but it's really wonderful that we're able to keep doing this and everything. And thank you so much for coming on and joining me. And I hope Jesse is well. And
great.
Yes. Well, I really very much appreciate it. So thank you, and hopefully we can perform live and see music live very soon.
And you keep doing the show, okay?
Thank you, of course.
Enjoy yourself, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, you take care.
You too. So we have come to an end. I'm going to perform one more song for you all. And for this series, I will be back probably in October. But I do want to take a month to figure out school and how that's all going to work out, because it will be a crazy time. So yes, this is one that I hope you all know and love. And these have been a lot of fun, so thank you everyone for bearing with me and all of these wonderful guests. Hold me close and hold me fast, this magic spell you cast, it is la vie en rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes, I see la vie en rose. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. So give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be la vie en quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots là tout le jour, je sens me faire quelque chose. Il est entre dans mon cœur, on n'est pas de bonheur, on n'est pas les croisés. C'est lui pour moi pour lui dans la vie. Elle me l'a dit là, je pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, j'alors je sonne émoi. Mon cœur qui bat. Bye. Thank you, everybody.